So chapter 10 opens up with a couple of cutscenes that actually address like the overarching plot of this game, so I guess I'll take a second to talk about that. Specifically, I'm going to talk about Sakuma because I haven't yet, and maybe I should because he's actually pretty important. So I guess first of all, he's Tsubasa's uncle, and I've never mentioned that. So he's not just like this creepy guy in a lab coat that's following all these kids around. They do actually know this dude. And he's also an entomologist, and you can tell this game is marketed towards children because not once do they ever use the word entomologist. They always call him a bug researcher, and he has a bug research mentor, and the mentor's name is Dr. Godot, which is this name that's been like mysteriously uttered several times throughout this game. Not that you would be able to tell because I've been skipping all the text, but it has been. And right now, he's the guy who we kind of suspect to be behind the Black Swarm, like the final boss and all that shit. But I'll get to all that in a minute. First, I want to talk about what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is I'm combining some new cards. And you might remember me combining some cards way back in Chapter 5. I'm doing the same thing this time, only I'm using like free mix instead of recipe. You're supposed to use recipes to combine cards, but if you know the recipe offhand, then you don't need to know the recipe. That didn't make any sense, but deal with it. So what I did is I made a Beetle Horn card with a bunch of Neptune Horn cards, and I made a Longhorn Touch card with a bunch of Mantis Touch cards. And it's basically just like the second tier of those cards. So instead of being a ×2 bonus, I'm going to get a ×2.5 bonus, which we need in order to bring enough firepower to kill some really bulky motherfuckers in this chapter. And on the hanger side of things, what you see me doing is I gave Shoya his booster, and I gave Minoru an Antenna 2, just as a small boost, and then I decked the fuck out of Akane. So she's got a laser sight, and a radar, and a Vulcan 2, which at this point in the game is as strong as she can possibly get. And we need her to be that strong, because we need her to one-hit KO the boss of this chapter. And if you happen to have read the chapter title, you would know the boss of the chapter is General Misaki. And she's the third general of the Black Swarm. She's also the other pupil of Dr. Godot. So she and Sakuma are actually like colleagues. In fact, it's sort of implied that they have like a romantic history together, but I mean, this is a children's game, so they're never gonna outright state it. But in this chapter, Misaki doesn't seem to recognize Sakuma. And in fact, the game drops a whole lot of really obvious hints that she's being mind-controlled by Dr. Godot, the least of which certainly not being her dead-ass looking eyes. Also, she brought like Elisha's subordinate unit with her, so Janie, Raphael, and Blade are just like in the corner, and they literally don't even move in this chapter. They're just there. It's one of the couple of ways this chapter is pretty misleading. But to address the chapter itself, it's kind of split into like two halves, as you're going to see here. On the left side, there's like this narrow kind of dirt road with a bunch of shitty terrain and a bunch of just like generic, not really powerful enemies. And on the right side, there's this mountain and all the trees around it and subordinate units hanging out there. And it's also the place where Misaki and our two spider bros are going to come fight us. And I'll get to spiders in a minute. No, I haven't talked about it. So what we're going to do in this chapter is first we're going to send Shoya and Yamato to start whittling down all this crap on the left side. And Yui's going to come and help too a little bit. And we're going to send Akane right to deal with some spiders. And we're also going to use Minoru to help Tsubasa move as far to the top of the map as possible, because she needs to deal with those ladybugs right there, because we're not going to be able to like reach them otherwise in time. And there's also two capsules in this chapter. There's one in the middle that you're going to see me actually deliberately skip here in a second, and that's because it's worthless. It got a Butterfly Kiss card in it, which is like a range upgrade to the base healing cards that we've had. But I mean, we have had Cricket Song since Chapter 3, so the Butterfly Kiss card that we could get in this chapter is already outclassed, so we totally ignore it. And on the left side, there's a capsule that has a... This is the other way this chapter is misleading. It's got a capsule and it's got an Aura Beam 2 in it, and that's a straight-up upgrade to Yui's weapon, which is the Aura Beam. And you might expect that to be like a really important weapon to have, but you'd be wrong, and you're wrong because we're actually never going to use Yui in combat after this chapter ever again. So, as a result, we don't need to upgrade her weapon. We would actually like that capsule to sell because it's actually worth a lot. And it's kind of unfortunate that we don't have enough turns to get to it in time, but that's how it is. So, spiders. Spiders are kind of like this jack-of-all-tradesy sort of class. They have pretty equal guns, melee, and cannon, and they're not really supposed to be doing any one thing in particular. And they also have like 6 movement and legs, which is pretty cool. It helps them fill all the different roles that you could possibly want to use them for. And where they stand out is they have absolutely massive fucking speed, and they have, for some reason, a ton of HP. In fact, like, check this out. She's got 490 right now, and we barely secure the one-hit KO on her, even with Dragonfly Rage, even with all the stuff we gave to Kane at the start of this chapter. In fact, there's actually a small chance that we just don't kill her, but thankfully, it's small enough that it doesn't really matter. So yeah, spiders have a ton of speed, and they have a ton of health, and basically just fuck spiders. Like, they just love to roll on that random bullshit speed damage reduction thing that I was talking about a long time ago. And frankly, I think I've reset in this game. Mostly because of spiders. Like, they're the #1 reason that I have to reset in this game. So yeah, fuck spiders. And we're fighting 3 of them in this chapter, and all 3 like to not die for no reason. Okay, and Sumasa here is going to use Bee Sting to kill this first ladybug. We have to use Bee Sting for 2 reasons. The first reason is because Dragonfly Fury doesn't actually kill because this guy's sitting on rocks, and he has too much defense. And the other reason is just because we don't have enough Dragonfly Furies to go around, and we don't really have another choice, so it just kind of works out like that. And at this point in the map, we kill Misaki, and we're just kind of cleaning up. There's the 1 strider here on the left, there's only 2 spiders left, and there's only 1 ladybug at the top, so the entirety of next turn will just be us finishing off all these guys. But after the enemy phase here, we're going to have another one of this game's patented, really dumbass looking cutscenes. And the first reason why it looks so stupid is because it features Misaki, and she's already dead, so it's stupid right off the bat. And what happens here is she basically just starts chirping Sakuma, and he's like, whoa, hey, hold on. We're friends. Why are you fighting on the enemy team? And then she's like, I'm not going to answer you. Fuck you. Also, you have an origin, so she's going to attack him. And she's also going to somehow hit all 3 of these subordinates. And they just kind of brush it off. But then Sakuma's like, yo, hey, you're all being a bunch of bitches. Come join our team. And they're like, okay, you know what? You're right. We can't really justify doing this anymore, so yeah, we're in. And they join our team as allies, but as I said, we're gonna finish off the map here on our turn, so they still don't get to do anything. How I think this is supposed to go, like the chapter that is we're supposed to all go left, and then at some point the subordinates will join our team, and then they're supposed to fight all the spiders themselves, and then lose, and then you sweep in and help them. But obviously we're too fast and too cunning for that to ever happen, and they end up doing literally nothing in this chapter. Also, I think like what actually happens there is like they get attacked, and then Sakuma's like, "Yo, hey, you guys realize that we have an origin too? Like the Black Sworn has 1, we have 1. We're the good guys. You should come fight for us." And they're like, "Yeah, all right." Also, you probably noticed that there's like this weird X-looking thing on the mountain in the middle of the map, and believe it or not, that's actually a crest. It's the first and only crest that you can ever find in the story mode. All the rest are hidden away in the deep corners of the internet and also the Badlands. But this one's in story mode, and we obviously don't use it. It's because it fucking sucks. It's got beetle acid attached to it, and beetle acid is just like this way shittier version of Neptune Horn, which is the first tier on several tiers of that kind of card, so it's totally worthless. Alright, and that's basically the end of Chapter 10. Beat it in 5 turns, which is cool. And after this, we actually have a full roster. And by full roster, I mean we can take like a maximum of 8 dudes into a map at any given time, and after this bonus runs, we have 9 units. So yay! We have a full fucking team finally. Or, I mean, so I would like to say, but it actually isn't going to work out that way. First and foremost because we don't actually even deploy our entire team next chapter. Next chapter is starts really switching things up on us. It's very, very... I'm not even gonna say it's an interesting chapter. It's just kind of like a weird chapter, and it's like the first case of this game starting to break the status quo on us.